All right, Bob. Week 2.
Week 2.
They didn't kick us off the internet yet.
No, we'll never get kicked
Behind the Laughter at BeTerrific.com. Myself, Dino from Uncle Vinny's, and Sir Reverend Robert Levy.
From Deptford, New Jersey.
Looking as good as ever.
Nah.
What's the story with the surgery? You getting surgery yet?
Yeah, I'm getting it. I should be getting an answer now. They turned it down, the insurance company, because they're scumbags. So now they'll say yes this time. This is what they do. And then hopefully in the end of February, I get cut open and I can fucking feel life again.
It's like a comedy club. Yeah. We're going to book you.
No, I know. It definitely is. You know what I mean? It's like, can you call back Monday? Can you call back?
And you argue with the price.
And yeah, but when they want you to call back and they're like, can you call back Monday? And go, oh God, can you call back tomorrow? And I'm like, I'm not your fucking bitch, motherfucker. I didn't come into this business to fucking be talked down to, you know, and it pisses me off because I want to fucking I really want to fucking smash their fucking heads in when they talk to people like that, because it's not fair. You don't do that to people.
I mean, me owning a comedy club, I'm not answering the phones Monday morning.
No, it's like
you shouldn't be either.
No, it's like you don't set an appointment for a date. You get dates. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what you should get. And it's like I'm not gonna call you to kiss your fucking ass and tell you, you know, how great everyone else tells you you are, only because they can't say anything wrong. They're so afraid to say something wrong. And it's like, God, the guy just books a club. I could do that too if I had more time. Truthfully, that's the way I look at it. I look at it like that. But you know what I mean? I love when you can go, you can own a place, you take control of it. You take control of it. Everybody's got dates fucking 3 months. You know what I mean? Three
months. I'm into 2021.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I already have 3 dates there at your club, at least, this year. And that's the way it should be. You fill up your schedule, you know where the fuck you're going the whole year. But everybody wants to fucking, look what I'm going to give you. You're not giving me anything because I'm working for you. I'm working for everything that I fucking make in this business.
That's right.
And that's the way it fucking is. And don't ever try to turn the tables about, you know what I mean, who's more important. The comedian's more important. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, you can own a comedy club, but if you don't have a comedian on stage, it's not a comedy club.
It's not. So that's why. It's simple. But when did comedians, like, I want to talk to Chris about this. We got our friend.
We got our guest today, Mr. Chris Johnston. Not Johnson.
I know.
He's white. Johnston.
Yeah. Call me whatever you want. As long as you book me, I'm fine by it.
You say? Yeah.
Good
to see you, brother. Yeah, he's a good man and a funny dude. Like, these are the people you want to be around when you're working, when you're just hanging out. I mean, that's what comedy was about, and we'll get to that a little while back.
I got a funny Chris story though.
Oh, you got one? Okay.
You know how you broke into my club?
Through the back door.
Like most people. Chris did a open mic with an outside company that was there. And I just years ago, got the stage on the opposite side still.
Yeah, you had the doors.
This had to be that'd be like 2004, 2005. And I just he used to send me avails. I'm like, albino rhino was his.
Oh shit, I remember that.
My AOL email address.
That was so fucking annoying.
Why was it Rhino 58? I think it was.
Right. 2845.
Wasn't that annoying to see it come up? And I don't know why. I would get mad at him for stupid reason like that.
So I'll tell you about the albino rhino email in a minute too. Then.
And you know what? And Joe Fernandez was vouching for him. I just looked. I'm like, nah, just not right. But you know, he never pressed the issue. He played it right. He sent me a tape. It could have been the same tape, just a different cover.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, and Joe Fernandez also says the same thing, do what Chris Johnston did to get into the club. Don't be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Eventually, if you're good, you're going to get in.
Yeah, there's a fine line between, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil and the fucking screeching, squealing wheel is annoying as hell. So, we
talked about Screech last week. We won't talk about
that. Yeah.
No, but you're right about that. Like, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, what the fuck? They want me to call back. Fuck you. Like, and I feel like I'm not good to them, but which is I don't. Well, you know what I mean? I'm like, I look at it the other way too.
Your video, your clip, or whatever it is. I think back then it was an actual tape or a CD or a DVD. It's only a small portrayal of you. Like you just want to be able to get your foot in the door and show you what you can do on stage in front of a real audience. And, I'm not going to be, I don't want to be a pain in the ass, but I also, so I'll figure I'll just send out stuff periodically once I get something different, or even like just change the cover.
You see, that's a good idea.
Long ago, I think it wasn't, I think it was a tape.
Might have been a tape, yeah.
I don't think it was a DVD.
No, it might have been the VHS tape.
Voss had a sketch sent. I had a sketch sent. I love him.
I tell you, he was just in the club this past weekend. He's got his 6th CD out, Hamilton something, right? And a kid came up to me and goes, why is he still selling CDs? I'm like, because he's old.
Why not? Because he can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just need to sell something. I mean, you've been selling shirts. We were just talking. You've been selling shirts forever.
I haven't in a long time, and I'm finally getting back in full time.
But he's dedicated though. There was a time. This is a good one.
I know.
We opened. I emceed and you featured for Artie Lang at the Borgata. And while Artie was on stage, Jay Leno was in the big room upstairs. Jay Leno came down into the green room and wanted to take us out to dinner. And Bob's like, I got to go sell my shirts. And I'm like, fucking Jay Leno's here and all denim. He wants to take us out.
First,
you didn't recognize him?
No, I didn't get to see him. I was already selling my shirts, so I was out there.
You walked
right?
out, and then you came and rushing into the restaurant with your suitcase of shirts.
No. The funny thing was the security and this lady in charge comes up and she goes, a fan would like to meet you in the back. And I'm like, well, when I'm done
then selling
my shirts.
Yeah.
And fucking... And I go, all right, now I continue selling. And they go, no, you don't understand. You have to go meet this fan. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Somebody I knew. I was like, here, just sell these. You know what I mean? And I walk back there and he's like, hey, Bob, how you doing? And he goes, big fan. It was weird. It was like the weirdest thing because you don't expect... You know what I mean? When you do whatever you do, whether it's on radio, however somebody knows who you are, you don't expect somebody, you know what I mean? Like that somebody's listening. You don't know that. No. You just don't. You don't look at it like I never did. No. And I was always shocked when some people would come up to me and go, "Huge fan," and they're like really big celebrities. And it's like an amazing feeling.
Well, he was cool in general. Like he came walking in when I was there. He's like, "Hey, you wanted the comics, right?" And I was like, "Holy shit!" I just saw all denim come walking in, and I'm like,
"Exactly."
Get Bob. Where's Artie? Was on stage at the time.
Yeah, and then we went out to eat. We went upstairs.
Went to this nice Italian restaurant, and everybody just followed his lead. He ordered like a personal pizza, so we all ordered personal pizzas.
Exactly. Nobody wanted to go for fucking steak at that point because you look at.
And I was just looking to see who's pulling the card. Is it Artie? Because Artie was making a lot of money. I was like, is it Artie or is it Jay pulling the card out?
But Jay was in the 2,000 seater. We were in the one.
That's 35 upstairs, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's
call him up to come.
No, but fucking what? No.
And it would suck is that was just as he only had like a couple months left on his TV show on TV because he said he was like, just send something right away, send something in, and by that point he was already probably booked up for the rest of it.
And what do? I go, well, I got to get out of here. I got to go take my dogs out. My dogs are home alone. And he goes, wow. He goes, I never heard someone use that excuse to go home when they were with me. And it was hilarious because like I'm such a, when you really look at it, I was fucking saying, I'm gonna leave dinner with Jay Leno because of my dogs.
Well, he asked about you at dinner first because he was like, is Bob coming? Artie was like, he's selling shirts. He was like, all right.
Yeah, you see, he gets it. You know what I mean? He's done it all. Yeah. He's a comedian that's done it all.
Right.
Well, so that was the thing. He just wanted to hang with comics.
You know what?
He was cool.
Yeah, that was the greatest thing because he's done it all. He's done all the shit. Some people never went through that shit. You know what I mean? Until you go through the shit that is this business, you don't fucking appreciate anything. And you can't appreciate it as much as some people can because you fucking don't know. And that's the key. That's the key to comedy.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Chris is here. One of his gigs right now, I don't know if you noticed, he opens up for the Practical Joke.
Yeah. No, that's great.
How'd you get that?
I mean, short of it,
You sent him a tape, did you?
Yeah, I sent him a VHS. They kept telling me I wasn't right for Uncle Vinny's.
I think they were.
I did an open mic for them. No, I mean, the weird part of it is I do concert production also. We had a Springsteen show. Artie ended up coming out to the Springsteen show, and I was dropping your name and dropping Florentine. Like, I open for Levy, I open for Florentine. And Artie's like, oh, cool, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I do concert production also. And he's like, is there any way I can meet Bruce? And I asked Bruce's head of security at the time, Terry McGovern, who had passed, and Bruce wrote a song about him, Terry's song. I'm like, hey, Artie Lang from the Howard Stern Show wants to know if he can meet Bruce. He said, don't mention Howard Stern because Howard apparently talks a lot of shit about Bruce. Okay. And he was like, yeah, go ask him. So I asked Bruce himself, and Bruce was like, yeah, bring him in. I'll fuck with him.
Wow.
And then Artie went in, introduced him to Bruce, and they hung out and chatted for a minute. And then Artie said, is there anything I can do for you? And then I was like, yeah, give me some gigs every now and then. He would throw me some gigs with you guys.
At the Starland.
At the Starland. He threw me a couple other ones, too. Yeah. And then he would always, at the end of the show, be like, hey, give it up for Chris Johnston. He introduced me to Bruce. Now I got to pay this asshole to open for me. And the Impractical Jokers happened to be at one of the shows.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, they were at the show that we did.
Yeah.
And then they saw me there. First time I met them, this is like season 1 probably.
Yeah, they were so cool. Those
cool
guys
as hell.
Back then.
Very, very new to the show. Hadn't taken off to what it is, but it was doing well. And then I ended up promoter repping one of their shows, and they recognized me like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm the guy they're like, you're the guy that opened for Artie. I was like, yeah. And like, what are you doing this? I do this also. And then they're like, we got to get you in a rotation. And next thing you know, I kept getting closer with them, and they threw me in a rotation, and I did well, and the rest.
Could you ever imagine that happening?
No, but it just goes, it's one of those things. You got to put your best foot forward at all times. Exactly. Like we were saying in another room, I don't care if it's with them, I've done arenas and amphitheaters. It's amazing. I've done 8, 10, 12,000 people theaters. That room that Jay Leno was in upstairs, I've done that. We did it in the summer. Three sold out shows. It's amazing. But it doesn't matter if you're doing that many people or I did a show for 2 people. You put your best foot forward. You give them the best performance you can. You always rise to the occasion because you never know when that moment's going to come that's going to be able to separate. Because I've been on the other side too, where I haven't been prepared. I kind of mailed it in, and then you find out, shit, so-and-so was a booker there. Oh, the shit, so-and-so saw me here, It
doesn't matter. Like, people that are there, you have to perform.
And
that's the way it is. You always have to do your best. Otherwise, you don't belong in this business. That's when I tell people you learn. When it's small crowds, you're not going to learn in front of big crowds because they're there.
Well, that's the thing too, is when you're relying on big crowds and you have to pull back material, you got like however much time you got set up, and you can't even get to all that material because there's laughter, there's applause, there's a roar of it. When you got a handful of people there and distractions there, you find out how much material and how funny you really can be.
Exactly. And that's when you're going to know, and you're going to grow from that.
So you stay humble about it. You're opening it for a big act, a huge act. I can't tell you how many feature acts open up for big acts, and their heads start exploding. And then the act actually tells them, you know what, we're going to replace you.
Well, because you realize they're not there for me. If I can grab any of their fans, anybody that likes me, that's watch me, that's great. But until I am that draw, like whenever I'm headlining, I say I'm closing, because unless I sold the place out in my own merit and my own name, anybody can do 50 an hour worth of material and be the last guy on the show. But if you're the headliner, your name's in the headlines and you're selling out the venue because you're the headliner. I can close, but those fans are not there to see me. So why do I want to leave with an ego? And it can end at any moment. And if it does, if they decide to move on, whatever the case may be,
retire.
They've given me such an amazing experience.
Exactly.
Same thing as you. You guys have all throughout my career, people have given me such amazing experiences, stepping stones, that I'll always cherish it. But then if there is a shelf life to it, I'll always fall back to what started me. And if I'm back to performing in front of 2 people, it's because I love doing this. I love all week long thinking of premises, writing material, and then performing it in front of anybody that's there to listen.
Exactly. That's the way to look at it.
I was actually witness to something in the green room. This act was opening up for a very big name who's selling out tickets all over the place. And this feature's wife came in, was complaining about the food in the green room.
So my wife did that. I punched her right in the eye. No.
Yeah. And I held her down.
Are you fucking kidding me? Your husband was a plumber 2 years ago. He's making $1,000 a night. Shut the fuck up.
It's like, you know what I mean? There's certain things with people you're with. Whenever I brought even my crazy friends from Staten Island, I say you have to respect because you're fucking with what I do. Anyone that I've been married to, they knew. Don't fucking open your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's none of your business. Right. It's my business, and I take care of it.
Well, I mean,
that's only because of that. Because it was because otherwise, I don't want somebody to say, something bad about somebody I'm with. You get it?
There's so many funny people out there, but you could attest to this. It doesn't matter how funny they are sometimes. Like, it comes to how easy you are to work with. And that's why I just feel like I don't want to burn bridges. I don't want to step on any toes. Just be humble, be easy to work with, because that goes just as far, if not further, than being funny.
It does. It's not that it's sad, but like, you look at people and you go, this guy can do a really good job, or this girl can do a really good job, and she's really nice. Yeah. That's what you want to go for when I'm not working with people I know. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, it goes really far.
And it's also respect where you came from, too. Like, things come full circle. How many times? Well, here's a good example. As soon as I heard that you were in an accident, I was one of the first people to call you. I have nothing but respect for you. When I was first coming up and I look at some of the material I was doing then, I'm like, oh, this is fucking brutal. But you gave me stepping stones. You gave me opportunities. You brought me out on the road with you. You showed me off to some of your audiences. And I will always respect that and be grateful for that, because you're a real person. And as soon as I heard that you were involved in an accident, I was concerned, and I just wanted to see your well-being. No. And then secondly was, well, what's the next step? Do you need anything? Like, hopefully, how are you feeling? When are you ready to get back into it? But how many times have you seen, you see who your real friends and your family are? Like, how many people you see now, you're like, that son of a bitch.
No, something did change. Things did change.
Yeah.
I was alone for a long time, but you know what I mean? People came once they... I ended up in jail. I mean, and then I found out there was a benefit, but there is still some that fucking make sure that I'm still all right.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because, you know what I mean? It's like the hardest thing. I didn't say anything for so long, but nobody really called. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, I just didn't say anything. So nobody knew, they would say. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like, and then everything just crashed down. You know what I mean? When you're in jail, after that, it's like, wow, what is happening? Why is this? I have nothing. This has nothing to do with anything I did, but it all came back and fucked me up so bad. And you know what? Like you said, maybe I'm back where I was. And I do feel that way. And I will take a gig for low money if I'm open, because I love being on stage. Mm-hmm. And I got to get back to moving what I am once I get my operation, get back to everything. Everything's going to come around. And I know that. I know it.
But I mean, the way I look at it is there's no such thing as negativity as long as you learn from it and move positive, yes. Move in a positive direction going forward. And, hopefully it's an eye-opening. You kind of see who really is there for you, who has your back. And in just talking to you after a while, I remember you were telling me like you were going over some of your old notes and everything, and you were rewriting and everything. And you could tell that that's you. That's what you love to do. It's not, it's just for the love of doing it. Obviously you want to get paid and everything too.
Yeah, but I do love it. I'm so unbelievable blessed that I can do something that is it's basically like having a time of your life. Yeah. And it's to explain it to people, you're never going to understand it unless you go on stage and you really care about it. Yeah. Because it's the most, when you go up there and the fucking first joke, fucking you're killing them from the beginning. It's fucking the greatest feeling in the fucking world. See, it's better than sex, man. I've had sex. I've had a lot of sex.
Both times.
You know what I mean? And you can ask any girl or guy. That is the best feeling in the world on stage. See, when you're killing.
And what makes it feel so good is that, like, all week leading up to it, working out your bits, working out your premises, coming up with ideas, having a notebook full of just fucking chicken scratch that you're like, how do I turn this into something that
what did I write there? I can't.
Yeah, what did I write there? How did I the best joke in the world I didn't write down. I'm fucked. Now I got to try to remember it. And then when you get up there and you figure out how to finagle, like, how many times have you had a good premise? You're like, I know this is a good, unique, funny premise. It's just a matter of the cadence, the wording,
That's why comedians should talk to each other, because I'll see something and I'll go up to them, go do this joke. Yeah. Because I see it and you go, oh my God, I never seen that. It's just that you blank on it. You've handed me
pieces of paper when I got off stage before. You're like, here's a couple tags. You know?
Yeah.
But then sometimes you got the guys who'll take their material and run with it.
Well, yeah.
I know what? I noticed that less in this business than it was years ago.
I know some more.
I don't know. But I don't know because, like, I try to work with the same, I don't even think about it anymore. I'm not that fucking hothead where I want to kill people. I'll just keep writing. You know what I mean?
But your act is different, though. You're off the cuff a lot. It's tough to clip material off of you.
No, it's not. Well, not the other stuff, but
and even you too. I mean, you do a lot of stuff off the cuff too.
Yeah, I feel like I've changed a lot of my stuff just to be kind of either off the cuff or about me in my life that you can't really, I like observational stuff, but then you start to go into it and you see, especially with social media now, it kind of checks your hackiness. You see like, oh, that's a good premise about something, current event. And then you're like, oh, there's 42 posts about it already. Let me just step away from it and write something else about it.
Yeah, I've been posting like that different.
How do you feel about putting your stuff on Facebook? And
you know what? That's
media?
how I try it, truthfully. I mean, I wrote like 5 things yesterday.
Yeah.
Fucking, I just knew they were great. You know what I mean? Maybe I smoked a little for the pain. But I wrote them there, and they got a great response on Facebook and Twitter. And I, you know what I do? I copy them, send them to my wife, and go here. And she don't even write back, what is this? She goes, that's really funny.
Yeah. And
when I can make her happy about what she thinks is funny, then I know it works.
See, I think it's a balance. It's a fine. Again, I'm very into like a balance, like a fine line between not putting enough stuff out there, putting too much stuff out there, not giving away too much of it. Like sometimes I'll tease a premise, but in my back pocket I'll have like a tag to my punchline or something like that.
And
this
even
way,
write it better after it's
write
posted.
it better after it's done. This way, when you do get it up there and people are like, oh, I saw him do that. Whoa, there's that. I didn't see that part of it or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have to, you know what I mean? You got an audience there. Figure them out.
And you got to put, I mean,
that's what it is. It's like, what is my audience? Is my audience people that are in their 50s to late 60s?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You look for it. And then all you have to do is go, that audience is online somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you find them online, you hit the gold mine.
Well, a very good comic. Brett Ernst is a buddy. He was he brought me into realization a couple of years ago because I was old school. I guess I've turned old school, and I'm like, I don't like posting stuff online. I don't like people stealing material. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. And he was just like, you got to get over that shit. You don't have an online presence. You got nothing these days. And I'm like, I guess you're right. So
you have.
True.
You know,
I've been trying to post more like, record stuff that I record that's like crowd work or stuff that's like, stuff that's seasonal or for like certain demographics or occasions or something like that.
Or whatever town you're in.
Posting about the Philadelphia mascot when that guy was in the news for punching a 13-year-old. Perfect opportunity.
Yeah, but you
bang.
don't have that much downtime though between the two jobs. You got your daytime job and you get traveling all over.
Yeah, I got a production job. I do the comedy stuff. I got a couple of kids. No, I don't have a lot of downtime, but you got to try to squeeze it in.
See, that's amazing. You can do all that.
Mamba mentality, baby, Kobe.
No, it's just. I mean, I could never when I had a kid, I was just like, fuck it. See you guys later. You know what I mean? Everyone went to the city. I became a dad.
Well, that's
how I was just brought up. That's what I thought I had to do.
It's the fine line. Again, it's balance. It's the fine line between, I want to get into the city more and do more gigs and just do spots. But you look at them, is it worth it for me to not see my kids how many nights a week, put them to bed while they're 2 and 5, almost 3 and 5, while they still care about me. When they're teenagers and they're like, Dad, get out of my fucking life.
That's when
then I'll pop out a little. Then I'll get out more. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it is. It's a tough thing to figure out because you don't want to. You're out and then you're missing these times. You're thinking, and I'm like, I just thought, hey, whatever.
I know I'll never get, and I listen to people, other dads that tell me it goes fast, and I don't just take it with a grain of salt. I know it's going to go fast. I see them growing in front of me. This time I'll never get back, so I have to spend that time and the time I'm on the road, or I have to make sure that those are worth it. It's going to be a good crowd. It's going to be good paying money. It's going to be a stepping stone. It's going to be something because Bob's got kids. He's 102 years old now. And
I've had kids every century.
But you are another one that told me how fast they grow. And I remember you talking about your kid when they were younger, man. And holy shit!
And now he lives with me. It's cool. Because I see him all the time. He plays in bands, and we have a. We were watching, the music channel today, and he's playing the guy from the Stray Cats, the blonde guy now, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was playing, and fucking Dom's got the guitar, and he's like, "Wow, that guy's really good,"
My son is 2.5. All he listens to, he loves Bruce Springsteen. He watches videos and plays his sets things up as microphones. And I thought of you with your son, and I'm like, oh man, these are the moments I really got to make sure I try to be there for him, push him in the right direction. Like I wish somebody, pushed me to be involved in anything that I can.
You see, that's what it is. I was when I had it so good that I was like, this is how do I even come close to being a father like that?
Yeah.
And you try to. No matter what, you're always trying to fight in. Even a divorce is a tough time, so you're fighting to get into something that you're not wanted in anymore, and it's the hardest thing. And I mean, it's never good, but I'm pretty happy the way it went. It could have been a lot worse.
It looks great. I love it. I love seeing you posting pictures of your kid, like photos and videos of your kid, and how the progress too. Like, I remember you sending clips and just showing him off, and like, and how far he's coming. You know, he's always talented, but now he's like phenomenal. It's great.
Yeah.
What's a side a lot of people don't see of you?
Yeah.
No, that's what it is.
The guy eating blue cheese out of somebody's ass on stage.
I know,
and they don't know the other side.
No, that's you know what I mean. It's you know what's good. They to listen to how other comedians talk.
Yeah.
What I done. You know, just nice to them, which makes me feel good because that's the way I think you're supposed to be. You know what I mean?
I always respect where I came from, and I could tell you right now, without you, without Jim Florentine, without Artie, without Don Jamieson, without Otto, without all these guys, I would never have built the confidence, gotten on stage as much, and just I don't think I am where I want to be. I still want to keep growing. You always get that tunnel vision.
Yeah,
and you want to keep moving, but I would never be where I am right now. So I always thank you and appreciate you.
No,
guys.
But the whole thing is to
Dino for booking me.
Yeah, to be happy. That's the key. Yeah. You know what I mean? And people say, "Oh, he never made it," or that guy made it, and I'm like, no, making it is making a living and not having, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
feeling like you still have some integrity. You weren't a sellout. You didn't do the monkey dance thing for things you didn't want to do. You did the things that you want. You kind of, like Frank says, you did it your way. And
I did it a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I have nothing, like, you know what I mean? When I look back at it, I'm like, holy shit, I was fucking on the biggest radio show for fucking 8 years.
But you don't see it in the moment. Like people tell me now, like, oh my God,
crazy.
you're doing arenas, you're doing this and that. And you're like, you always have the tunnel vision. You're like, it's still not where I want to be, no matter what it is.
But that's what it is. You don't see it, and you don't look at it like, oh my God, you know what I mean? All of a sudden you're just there, and then it's like, okay, now I'm part of this. So I become something that's like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God anymore. And now I'm here. And now it's go, perform, do something.
Plus you're always pushing for what you don't have. Like there could be somebody can get booked in the back of a fucking bathroom, and I'll be like, oh, how come I'm not booked on that? I got to get in there. And
when you see some people
like, oh, what a shit gig.
Some people post on Facebook they're working, and I'm like, how are they working? And I'm off. I get so mad. Not because of they're working, it's because I'm home. Yeah. And I know how hard I work and how much I give it on stage. I don't give a shit where the fuck it is. And I'm fucking home.
Well, they're working for a cheeseburger. That's why.
No, but fucking that's got to change.
Then you have to. It's meta communication, self communication. You bring yourself back in, and you're like, all right, let me talk to myself. Why am I not working there? And you're like, all right, you put it into perspective.
I might have called the owner a C word or threatened to kill him. I've done that because I was out of my mind. Look, I was on all that medicine, dude. Yeah. I'll admit it. I'm not going to say I'm sorry, but yeah. I fucking said some fucking shit.
I remember when I had to tell a promoter, I was like, well, he wasn't really going to choke you out. He just says that.
That really happened? Wait a minute. This happened in a story with us.
Yes.
You got to tell it because I don't.
It was when the guy that was booking the Killers of Comedy shows, and his name was Adam. He was booking Killers of Comedy shows, and then there was something he didn't get back to you in time, and you told him, I'll choke you out, you Jew fuck.
Did I really?
Yeah, and then I was like, listen, he's Jewish also. It's an endearing way. He's gonna,
But I mean, like you see, I knew I had a bad temper. Yeah. Whenever somebody tried to fuck over somebody that was with me, I'd attack. Yeah. And that's all I knew because I knew from growing up, not from comedy. Yeah. You understand? So when somebody's going, they're not going to give him $10,000. I'm going, yes, you fucking are right now, or I'm gonna fucking rip your fucking head off. Yeah, yeah. See, Dino's even scared now.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit.
No, but fucking that is amazing because I remember just fucking
that was when you were, I think you were pretty fucked up at that show
with alcohol and pills.
I think it was Beetlejuice on that and Iron Sheik, and I had to pull the reins together and go around and get everybody paid, and I collected W-9s. Beetlejuice just gave me his wallet, which was full with McDonald's coupons, no ID whatsoever, and I was like, this guy's choking out the promoter. This guy doesn't have ID. And then I was like, let me go talk to the Iron Sheik and see what I'm going to deal with there. Yeah. And he just wrote his name Iron Sheik on a W-9, and it looked like a 3-year-old with Parkinson's wrote the name. And I'm like, this is a fucked up.
I remember getting pulled to the office at the end because I would get the money, right? And they would say, we got to send this. We have to give somebody has to pay for this. You know what I mean? Right. You have to put the money down for this. We need a number. on them, and I go, it's Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I go, I don't know if he has a fucking. Sometimes I would go, just put it on mine.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what to do.
He handed me a wallet with shitloads. I don't know, they might have been expired. Just Burger King coupons, no ID whatsoever. And you guys were feeding him Red Bull, so he thought he was drinking out because he didn't. So nobody got him.
When he got drunk, that was the night. Oh my fucking Lord, this is fucking hilarious. That was the night that I sent. This is how fucked up I was. I sent a picture of my dick to Beetlejuice, right? And Beetlejuice was showing the girls in the dressing room. He goes, "You want to see my big dick?" He was saying it was his dick, and it was white.
Those of you who don't know Beetlejuice, he's about a 2.5 foot tall black.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's enjoying. But they were all looking at pictures of my dick, but of Beetlejuice showing it off. And it's like, how do you explain this to your wife or girlfriend? You just say, hey, man, it's funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all I could say at the time.
Yeah.
I go, I don't care. You shouldn't care. It's fucking, I'm just laughing. It's fucking a hilarious thing to have Beetlejuice showing a picture of my dick saying it's his and it's white.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Vitiligo juice.
But what else? You know what I mean?
Sammy Sosa.
You can't worry about getting in trouble.
No.
You got to have fun. That's what all the fun is gone in this business.
And this way he gets the Me Too accusations against.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Can you imagine what I did on stage?
Oh, I know.
I mean, it's a different world. You can't do that. Yeah.
Can you imagine the way we were on the road? Are you fucking kidding me? Nobody fucking. We'll get down to the stories later on sometime down the road in the show, but like, we were fucking animals on the road. We were like rock stars. We were fucking. It was incredible. It was the shit that we did, and to have me eating blue cheese dressing out of a woman's ass on stage. When do you think that this had to end, 10 years, 14 years ago?
Yeah.
You never did it on my stage.
No.
I think I was on my stage.
I remember you doing it, and then at the end you would just kind of like
I'd spit it
like
in
you were
the-
fire, like Gene Simmons or something.
No, I would do it like Triple H.
Like Triple
the
H,
wrestler.
yeah.
You know, and I would spit it up like that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I was doing. And
Listen, I've been behind the stage a couple times. You would get in there.
you got to go deep. You got to look. If you're going to do something, do it fucking right. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? I don't want to
The
do
shoe
a fake-
shine your nose afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not going to lip sync the ass.
On that note, let's take a break. BeTerrific.com. All right, we're back. BeTerrific.com, and I got my water. I was choking to death. I moved away. He thought I had the virus.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking to Chris Johnston, and he knows we opened up for the Prato Jokers. But you know what? You're going up there. I'm going to assume you're doing 12 minutes of material?
Approximately 12 to 15.
And they're doing how many dates a year with you? 40 dates a year?
Bunch of dates, yeah.
It's like you were talking about growing and expanding your act. How can you do that? I mean, you're in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, if you're doing 12 minutes, you're doing 11 minutes, 59 seconds of your solid material that you know works.
Yeah.
So when's the fine point you say, okay, you know what? I'm making great money with the Jokers. They treat me good. Private jets.
Yeah.
Really?
But I want to be a headliner myself at the Borgata. How do you balance that?
I mean, it's again, it's just putting into work all week long, working out bits, working out material, working out premises with yourself, and then just picking spots. Getting up as much as you can when you can, without without not having your own life with your family and stuff like that, not compromising that, and fine tuning it in and honing it in as best. I've been doing this a long time now. I've been doing it long enough, fine tuning it in enough to the point where where the punches might land, and then. I still headline a bunch of shows, so I'll always try to work in material, and I usually try to. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but what I feel most comfortable doing is I lead in with a lot of new material when I do headline or I do longer sets.
Yeah, I do that too. So you right off the bat because you feel it. Then.
You feel it. You're not reliant because then the crowd doesn't really know you if they're not if they're not there for you. You know if it's going to work, if it's good, if it gets anything, as opposed to leaning and throwing it in the waves of like, a material. Because if I'm leading in with something that's going to crush that I know is good, following it up with something else and then throwing a bit in, the crowd already probably likes me by that point. They want to laugh with me. They're going to give me something for that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to lead in with it raw, see if it gets anything. If it does get something, then I know it's got legs and I'm good for it.
You know how you become a better writer too is when you throw everything, like you were saying, I put it all in the front. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't kill right off the bat, that makes my writing better. You understand that I have to have something that's going to be as good as anything else or better. And that's how you become a better writer. Yeah. By not having a fucking something that's just going to lay there up front.
Yeah. And again, it's a balance. It's a fine line. I want to lead in with that because I don't want there to be any bias of them already liking me or want to root for me. And I know it's the material. That material has legs and it's going to work. And then it's also, you don't want to sabotage your show by throwing brand new shit out there that might not be ready. So if it's not working for whatever reason, rather than you can just pull back, abort mission, and go into a material,
or just talk. Yeah.
What I like about Chris, he videotapes or audio tapes almost every show.
Yeah, and I go back, I listen to it, and you could hear the difference in your cadence. Like I kind of speed through new stuff a little bit more because. I'm just I have a little more energy. I'm a little more excited about doing it. Yeah. It's not kind of on autopilot. And then I have to really listen to that. And I mean, it makes you, I've watched the Jokers do that. Like I've been a fly on the wall, sitting in a car with them, sitting in a van with them, sitting on a bus with them. They videotape or they record everything.
Sitting
audio
in the tub with them.
Sitting in the tub with them, washing their backs as but they all work together. They work on it. They lead.
Really?
They listen to it and they really work hard. And it's incentivized me to want and inspired me to want to work hard, put in the time, put in the hours, go back, listen to what you were talking about. Sometimes you have a tag that you write on stage that you'll forget or you didn't have it initially in there. And it also helps you to realize like how many times have you written a bit and you think it's laid out and you realize the punch isn't even somewhere that you thought was going to be. Mm-hmm. It just was a normal story to you that other people laugh at and you're like, oh shit, that's the punch.
You never know. That's what it is. You never know, and you never know. Sometimes you think, okay, this will get a little laugh, and then all of a sudden they're dying at it and you're like, oh, okay. Now I can move it up a little. I can act it up a little more.
And it helps you cut the wordiness out, too, because that's the main thing. I tell young comics is just tighten. Cut the wordiness out. People know what a mall is, how to drive, how to get to the point of the shit.
Exactly.
And then hit them with some punches. And I like to hit rapid fire punches like bang, 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 bang. Yeah.
That's the way to do it because it's like you get the reaction all the time. It's like fucking you got a machine gun on. Yeah. That's how I feel. I want to feel on stage that I'm just fucking boom, 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 jokes.
Yeah, and if you happen to step on laughs because you have another punch, like that's one of my things. At least they come back, they see the show again, and now it's like Easter eggs that they didn't catch the first time. They got some additional.
Exactly.
It's how many times you watch a movie, you're like, you got to watch it a couple times to catch everything.
Everything,
Yeah, well, that's porn.
Yeah, you got to.
Well, they said 8 laughs a minute, right? 8 laughs a minute? That's what they're saying. If you can get 8 laughs a minute, you're successful.
I don't know.
That's what Joey Cole always told me.
I don't know. 8 seems a little.
It seems high, but
no, it's
that's like rapid fire.
No,
like bang,
I get 8 in there.
You want to get right off. Just keep them going.
Laugh, boom, 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 boom.
But at the same time, too, like. Comedy is so psychological and people don't realize it. Like, I feel like I try to switch up my cadence. I try to switch up my volume. I try to move around a little because if you're doing an hour or whatever, however you're doing, if the show is how many comics long, sometimes it's not always good to have the same style of comic on each show because you want to switch it up. The crowd, it's a lot of work on an audience. They have to sit there in a crowd for a long time, pay attention, listen for the setups, know when the punches are coming, and if they miss any of it, then
getting drunk, getting horny.
But the whole thing is
you got to try to keep it from getting monotonous.
Long. The whole thing is that everybody wants the show longer. That benefits for them. Yeah. You understand? But a long show, you got to get that fucking headliner up. There's a reason why he's headlining.
There's a 90-minute recipe for a reason. Yeah, people start to lose their attention span, their sobriety.
Exactly. They don't want to see 2, 3 people before. Just put somebody on. Put me on. That's it. I mean, fuck it. I ain't got time. You know what I mean? I get that. I'm there. Let's fucking go. I want to get up there.
It's work on a crowd. Like if you go to a concert,
it's work on a comic.
It's work on everybody. But if you go to, there's a shelf life. But if you go to like a concert, you could sit there, pay attention, not even pay attention when the chorus comes on. You sing the chorus, go back to bullshitting. You can't talk. You can't have any distractions. No phones. No. You got to sit there and really pay attention. And like people ask me all the time because I work in the music industry. They're like, so like, what's the differences? And I'm like, it's just constant work as a comic. comic. Like if I write a kick-ass song for the rest of my life, I can coast in. If you know the lyrics to my song, that's a great song. I'm good. If you know the lyrics to any of my jokes, I need to write new shit right away.
Yeah, you can't lip sync your jokes.
No Super Bowl.
There's some comics I could do their act.
Yeah. No, but
Any inflections.
It's just fucking crazy, man. It's a crazy business.
It's a crazy business, man.
But
it's psychological, man. I respect it. I respect, and a lot of people too, they're like, oh man, you're up there by yourself. How do you do it by yourself? And I'm like, listen, that's one thing I learned. I've worked with countless bands, great musicians that they can't get along and they can't play anymore because if I can't get along, I know where to point the finger. It's just me up there by myself, man. I take full responsibility.
What's the worst gig you ever had? One stick out that's just like, fuck. I know you don't want to bash anybody. It's a worst gig.
Usually those are like privates that like somebody who thought it was fun, a good idea to hire a comic and nobody else knew there was going to be a comic.
Yeah, it was going to surprise them.
A fucking wedding. I did a wedding. I did a couple weddings and you're like, who the I did it because I was getting paid well.
You know what? And somebody, when somebody calls you and says they're a fan, you don't want to say no to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Because... to them, this is a big thing.
Yeah.
It really is. So, like, you go there and you're like, oh, this is fucking uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to say no to it because you look like a douche, Oh, fuck, I wanted him to come to he didn't want to do my wedding.
Yeah.
You feel that you look like a douche.
Yeah, you look like a douche. Houses, people's living rooms, those are
the little kids running.
Little kids running around.
I've had people with guns in houses, fucking all these gangster things years ago.
You know what are unfun for me? Some people love doing them. I've had shows where people are like, hey, just keep it PG-13, and you show up and the first person you see is the priest, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I don't.
This isn't my gig. I don't want to.
PG-13. When it says don't be too dirty, I have no idea what that is. I don't fucking know. You know
blue
what I mean?
cheese.
Just let me be me.
Honey mustard.
Look, I'm the smart one. I'm the one that's not going to fuck and make myself look bad. Let me do it, and if I fuck up, it's my fault.
Yeah.
It's the only reason.
We did a fundraiser in Staten Island when I had that club. I like to forget that time frame, but we did that club out there, and we did a 9/11 fundraiser.
Yeah.
Listen, it was a horrible situation to happen, but they showed the video of the planes hitting the towers.
Oh my God!
Right before the show. Wow. Not a dry eye in the room. How the fuck do you go up?
That's no good.
I mean, we talked about last week where Joey Vega got sabotaged, but these places they got to learn to take your advice.
But the problem too is there's always that diamond in the rough, that 1% chance. Like I just did a private, it was way upstate New Jersey and it was a fundraiser benefit for somebody, a motorcycle guy that passed away about a year.
Wow.
And I was like, showing up, I'm like asking like, what's the benefit for? Is there anything restrictions? And the promoter was like, oh yeah, it's for a memorial for I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck. Phenomenal show, great show, and you're like, so now it's great that it went over well, but I'll always have that in the back of my mind, that slim 1% chance that this could potentially be a good gig every time I take that fucking call.
Well, we did a fundraiser about 2 years ago. It was for a woman who had cancer, and she passed before the fundraiser.
Oh, wow.
They still did the fundraiser. They had the best fucking time. They just dedicated to her. They said, you know what? If she was here, she'd be laughing her ass off.
I think a lot of it too is setting up the certain bookers, certain private stuff like that. The room's got to be set up the right way.
Yeah, we talked about the horseshoe thing. Dance floor.
There can't be too many distractions in the room. The room has usually got to be dark. Like how many times have you felt like you ate shit because the room was too well lit, and then people after the show are like, "Dude, I was holding my mouth. You were great. My father-in-law was sitting there." Like people,
that's what it is.
Anonymity,
or it could be too dark and they can't see your face on stage.
Exactly.
Like if you don't have a fucking light for me, then just fucking kick me in the balls.
You need to have clear audio. You need some lighting and just little things to make it feel, even if it's in the middle of a gymnasium or wherever in a living room, something to separate it. Put a backdrop, a small step as a stage, and just something to make you feel like you're separating this and you're turning it into a comedy club for a night.
Right.
It's it's simple and small, but it makes all the psychological, subconscious difference in the world.
We got to have Chris back.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Chris has a ton of stories.
Yeah.
We didn't even touch
we didn't get to talk about any stories.
Well, that's why we're going to have you back in a few weeks.
I'm into it.
You got one story to give us before we close it?
Save it.
We'll see.
Make one story. One story.
All right,
one story. A little tease.
I don't know. What are you looking for?
What do you want to tell us?
I don't know, man. It's just
the worst gig. Go back to the worst gig.
My worst gig ever?
Worst gig. Like you said, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. And you don't even care if you got paid or not.
I don't know. It's probably.
You always want to get paid.
Yeah, I always want to get. I mean, there's been some where I'm just like, look, I don't even care if I need to get paid. I don't know. I got to think about that one. I don't know if I'm going to give you something right.
You know what? I'll have a whole film.
You got an SB story.
What's that?
A little Bixie story. You have a sliding scale story?
Oh yeah, I got some Steve stories.
I think he's dead, so don't worry about it.
No,
Is he dead?
No, he's. I think I
alive?
saw some posts come up. He's still live and kicking. So I saw pictures of him pop up.
Look at Bob.
Where?
He's looking for dates.
Yeah, he's
No,
looking
I
at dates
just
in Florida or something.
No, he didn't even use me after I
Listen,
upped my price.
he always actually would fill in my calendar.
No, he did for me,
I
too.
can't tell you how many times I called and he said, let me get in. He would just give me a bunch of dates.
Exactly, like 8
And
dates, yeah.
Some of them were fun gigs. Some of them really you cut your teeth and you learn, how to deal with shit shows. There was a gig once we did with him where it was like a mutual fundraiser for the girls cheerleading and the boys football team for like a high school team. Obviously the kids weren't there. It was all parents.
Yeah.
So I forget who else was on the show, but I went up and I just said something like, how many fathers here, football dads? And they're like, yeah, how many fathers are cheerleaders? I bet you were on the other side. You had some quarterbacks. And something easy going just to break the ice a little. Then he went up and goes, so how many of your daughters were sucking their daughters' dicks underneath the bleachers? And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? You told us to be clean. And then you just go into that shit. I am. And he would pass out his pamphlets.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You see, that's the difference between a professional on stage and just sucking somebody.
Yeah, how do you come back from that?
I wasn't up next, so I don't know whoever went up to close. They had to pull it back together. But I remember me and a headliner were looking at each other like, why would you say that?
See, I would just make fun. I totally make fun of the way he looked, whoever that person was, to get the audience back.
Did you have a robe on?
I think he was in a sling. He had a Eagles hat that looks like a fucking elephant smashed the shit out of it onto his skull. But like I said, he was always good to me. Would take care of me with spots and gigs, and I got a lot. I learned a lot about comedy and what to do and what not to do, and how positive to look on potential shows.
Reminds me of one quick story. I had a fundraiser about 4 years ago. They reached out to me. They wanted to book 2 comics. I put 2 comics on the show, and they brought one of their members who was supposedly a comic.
Oh, man.
Went on the show, started off horrible for 15 minutes.
Jeez.
I got the feature act calling me up saying, who is this? Who'd you book? I said, I didn't book anybody. It's just the 2 of you. I called up that person that following day. I ripped into him. I said, don't you ever contract me and put somebody else on stage without me knowing it.
I just did a show where the guy was going to go up on stage and he was friendly enough with whoever was closing the show, and he was like, I'm just gonna heckle you guys, and it'll make for the better show. I'll help the show. These fucking assholes say, and he's like, how about you go on stage? You got material you wanted to do. How about you go on stage and you do a tight 5? He's like, I'll do it. I've been writing forever. I could probably do 15. He's like, go do 15. He bailed. I was waiting to go up. I don't even think it was 30 seconds, and he bailed. Did a queef joke that ate shit. Did a jerking off in a sock joke that ate shit. And then, all right, guys, this is harder than I thought. Walked off stage, and I'm like,
at least he admitted.
Yeah.
How could jerk off in the socks be bad?
I don't know how we can fuck up that joke.
I guess the sock queefed.
All right, guys, we got to call it a night. Chris, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you. It was great.
Good seeing you.
All right. Behind the Laughter, BeTerrific.com. Later.